The day I became the most hated man in Lakeside Estates was the same day I became its most powerful. Not that I ever asked for that. All I really wanted was to help my daughter smile again. And for a moment, on that quiet Saturday morning, I thought maybe just maybe I was getting close. It had been 6 months since cancer took my wife, Rachel, 6 months of empty rooms, sleepless nights, and the unbearable task of raising our 14-year-old daughter, Selin, through a grief that seemed far too large for her small frame. She didn't talk much anymore. Her smile, the one that used to light up entire rooms, was buried beneath the weight of loss. But on that morning, standing on the dock with a fishing pole in her hand and her shoes off, I saw a flicker of it. She was unhooking a small bluegill she'd just caught, her fingers delicate but focused, the way Rachel had taught her. Then came the voice, sharp, stern, invasive. "Excuse me, but what exactly do you think you're doing?" A woman, maybe late 50s, dressed head to toe in high-end athleisure, with perfectly blow-dried hair and the unmistakable air of someone who once returned a salad for being too green. She was holding a tablet like it was a badge of authority, and her expression suggested she'd caught us smuggling contraband, not fishing on a community dock. I turned, still trying to hold on to the fragile calm of the moment. "Good morning," I said, keeping my tone light. "Just doing some fishing with my daughter. She caught that one all by herself." I extended my hand. "Remith and Kraft, we moved into the house on Sycamore Drive about 2 months ago." She didn't take my hand, didn't even look at it. "I'm Karen Wellington, HOA president," she said, like she was announcing royal lineage. "Fishing is explicitly prohibited in the community lake. You're in violation of HOA regulations. I'm issuing you a fine $500. I felt Selin freeze beside me. Her smile disappeared in an instant, replaced by that hollow, guarded look I knew too well. "There must be some mistake," I said, trying to keep the edge out of my voice. "When we bought the house, the realtor told us fishing was allowed. It was one of the main reasons we chose this place." Karen gave a thin, practiced smile. "The regulation was amended last month. All residents were notified via email. Ignorance of the rules doesn't exempt you from following them." She tapped her tablet and turned it toward me. Sure enough, there it was, a newly added amendment titled Recreational Use of Community Lake Revised Guidelines. The date showed it had been approved 4 weeks ago. I hadn't seen it. Not in my inbox, not in spam, not anywhere. We'd just finished unpacking when the month changed over, and between grief, school enrollment, and finding our footing, checking HOA emails hadn't exactly topped my to-do list. "We never received this," I said calmly. "No email, no notice, nothing on our door. I personally oversee all communications," she replied, her voice clipped. "It was sent to every household. Perhaps your spam filter is too aggressive." I felt my jaw tighten. I forced a smile. "May I ask why fishing was banned all of a sudden?" I gestured to the water. "The lake is clearly stocked. I can see base from here." "Environmental and safety concerns," Karen said with mechanical precision. "Hooks can harm wildlife, and several residents have complained about the smell of bait disturbing their lakeview practice." She looked down at our modest tackle box with a curled lip. "This isn't about hooks or smell, is it?" I asked, my voice low. "This is about control." She didn't respond, just tapped her tablet again and walked away. That was the moment everything changed. The moment I went from grieving father to someone with a mission. Because what Karen Wellington didn't know was that I had $4 million in liquid assets. The kind of time that comes with early retirement, and enough resentment to put every single one of those dollars to use. I wasn't going to just pay the fine. I was going to burn her little kingdom to the ground. That night, while Selin slept upstairs and the lake shimmered in the moonlight outside, I made coffee and started reading the Lakeside Estates HOA bylaws. 80-7 pages. A Frankenstein document of legalese, passive-aggressive, rulemaking, and petty community politics. But underneath all the fluff, I found exactly what I was looking for. The HOA president had a lot of influence, but not absolute power. Regulations could only be amended by vote. Financial expenditures over a certain amount needed a 3-member board. And there was a discretionary fund, a community beautification and wellness budget that Kieran had full access to. A quick public records search showed it was being drained rapidly. Thousands spent on unnecessary upgrades, $9,200 for flower planters, $12,000 for solar lighting installations no one requested, and a $6,800 duck sculpture installed next to the lake last year from a family-owned design company based 2 towns over. I kept digging. Karen's husband owned a shell landscaping firm. Most of the vendors she used were connected to friends and relatives. All technically legal, all morally rotten. The next morning, I started meeting neighbors. Casual walks, friendly chats, subtle questions. I learned more in a week than most of them had in years. A lot of people didn't like Karen, but they didn't think they had any power to stop her. They feared retaliation, fines, harassment, nitpicking violations, but they were tired. One couple had been cited for excessively festive Halloween decor. Another got fined for leaving a garden hose in view. A single dad had to repaint his mailbox because the black paint he used was apparently too glossy. I called a lawyer, not for legal action, but for interpretation. I wanted to know what I could do within the rules, not break them, bend them, weaponize them. We found gold. According to the bylaws, any HOA member could run for board election if they got signatures from 10% of the homeowners. With enough community interest, a vote could be forced. And if I could win a seat, I could start pulling back the curtain. I printed flyers. Not the boring kind, the kind you'd actually stop to read. I used humor, honesty, and a bit of snark. Sick of fines for leaving your trash bins out 10 minutes late. Tired of $10,000 duck statues while the sidewalk cracks go ignored. Let's fix it. Remy Thorncraft, Sycamore Drive. I went door to door with Selin on weekends. She seemed more herself each day, especially when people smiled at her and offered cookies or let her pet their dogs. She saw me fighting for something and I saw her walls coming down. 2 weeks later, I had the signatures. A month after that, we held the election. Karen scoffed when I announced my candidacy, called me entitled at a board meeting, smirked when someone asked if we'd ever get fishing back. The vote, it wasn't even close. I won, by a landslide, and that was when the real war began. Karen didn't go quietly. She tried to block initiatives, sabotaged board meetings, refused to hand over documents, so I filed public record requests. Brought in an outside auditor. Found 2 years' worth of questionable spending. I hosted open meetings, real ones. I started a neighborhood newsletter. I put up a community bulletin board and invited residents to write suggestions. And yes, I got fishing reinstated. Catch and release. Responsibly done. 2 designated days per week. Educational signage about wildlife protection. Local kids started showing up with rods. Parents brought lawn chairs and Kellen. She smiled again. Really smiled. Not just at the fish, but at people. She started tutoring other kids. Volunteered to help with the lake cleanup. I watched the darkness lift from her like fog. Karen resigned 3 months after the election. Not with grace, of course, but with one last mass email, accusing me of undermining tradition and politicizing the community. Most people ignored it. The HOA meetings now last 45 minutes instead of 2 hours. The duck statue remains, but we turned it into a kind of mascot. Someone put a fishing hat on it. It's hilarious. People wave now. Real waves, not tight-lipped nods. Kids ride bikes again. Someone even installed a community little free library near the lake. I didn't set out to become a leader, but I wasn't going to let someone else's thirst for control poison the only peace I had left. So if you're watching this video from your phone while hiding in the bathroom to escape another HOA meeting from hell, just know it's possible. Change is possible. All it takes is one fine, one line crossed, and enough spite to read the bylaws, and maybe a little help from a grieving father who just wanted to fish.